My name is Queen Elizabeth. I was born September 7th, 1533, into a life of royalty as the daughter of King Henry and Anne Boleyn. Growing up with many privileges, I was educated by the finest teachers in England. I learned writing, literature, music, 5 different languages, and religion. When I was 25, I was crowned Queen of England. I love the people in England as much as they love me. I never married but cared for the people as if they were my children. They even nicknamed me Good Queen Beth. During my 45-year reign, I reestablished the Church of England and defeated the Spanish Armada. I died at the age of 69. I will always be remembered as one of England's greatest rulers. Now let's travel across the ocean to meet a man who is known as the father of his country.
Hello, my name is George Washington. I live on a farm in Virginia. When I was 16, I began interest in surveying and drawing maps. Later, I had a job surveying the Virginia wilderness. 6 years later, I led my first troops into the French and Indian War. Later, when fighting between England and the 13 colonies began, America needed commander-in-chief of its armed forces. I was selected for the job. The war was called the Revolutionary War and lasted for 8 long years. Continental Army and I fought bravely. And that became a hero. In result, the 13 colonies became 13 states and a new government was formed. I was elected first president of the United States of America. I won a lasting place in history as father of Africa. Wait, is that the sound of drums?
I'm Sacagawea. I'm a Native American Shoshone. My name means bird woman. When I was 10 years old, the Dasta Indians attacked our tribe and killed many people, including my mother. I was taken prisoner. Later, I was married to a Canadian fur trader and had 1 son. Lewis and Clark hired my husband and me to be their guides on the expedition west. I carried my baby on my back the whole way. I showed the group useful tools, medicines, and trails. My knowledge of the Indian language was very valuable. In 2000, the United States commemorated me on the golden dollar coin. It was a picture of me carrying my baby. Now let's travel to the mid-1800s and meet one of the country's most popular presidents who showed compassion to all people.
My name is Honest Dave. Hello, my name is Abraham Lincoln. I was born in 1809 and grew up all the way to 6 feet 4 inches tall in a wild region with many bears and other wild animals in the woods. I worked hard and loved to read books as I could. Soon I became a lawyer and I was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. In 1860, the Republicans chose me to run for president. I won and became our nation's 16th president. During the Civil War in 1861, I issued the Emancipation Proclamation, which freed slaves. One April evening, me and my wife were at the Ford's Theater. I was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth. I'll forever be remembered as a leader and who freed slaves and tried to unite his country. Now I'd like you to meet a woman known as the Angel of the Battlefield, who cared and compassion and saved many lives.
Hello, my name is Claire Barrett. I was born in 1821 in Boston, Massachusetts. I was the youngest of 5 children, 2 boys and 3 girls. When I started in school at the age 4, I could already spell 3-syllable words. Even as a little girl, I always loved war stories. As I grew older, I became a good athlete too. I always loved animals, especially cats. That might have been the reason my mother taught me so much about the importance of cleanliness. At age 18, I began to teach. In fact, I set up one of the first free public schools in New Jersey. I taught for 15 years until I was just exhausted. I moved to Washington, D.C. and became one of the first women to work at a U.S. patent office. In 1862, during the Civil War, I joined the Army of Potomac. I became the first nurse to visit the battlefield. I became known as the Angel of the Battlefield because I saved the injured and saved many lives. During the Civil War, I was one of the most famous women in America. Everyone loved and respected me. I was asked to set up relief for the Franco-Prussian War. And I returned to the United States to establish the American Red Cross. I served as head for 25 years. Today, the same organization continues to assist victims of war and natural disasters. I am proud to be remembered as a great American humanitarian. Now let's travel to the 20th century and meet two brothers who changed the way we travel.
Good morning. I'm Wilbur, and this is my brother Orville.
And we are the Wright brothers.
I was born on April 16, 1867 in Millville, Indiana.
And I was born on August 19th, 1871 in Dayton, Ohio. We were very curious children and had many hobbies and loved to experiment and tinker.
Our father brought home a toy helicopter from a trip. Remember that, Orville?
Yes, I'd say that's what sparked our interest in flying. In fact, it made us want to build a flying machine for people.
Right. Then we started to study birds and experiment with wings. And where did we go to take our experiments even further? Orville?
All the way to Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. That's where we tested our new homemade glider designs that were big enough to carry a person.
Yes. Then we added an engine to the glider and named it Flyer 1.
I flew Flyer 1 on December 17, 1903, taking it more than 100 feet over 12 seconds.
We took a couple more flights that day, but the aviation had begun.
Whatever happened to Flyer 1, Wilbur?
Well, it's in the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C. All of you can go and visit it there. And when you go, remember us.
The fathers of modern aviation.
We would like to introduce you to a woman who demonstrated perseverance throughout her entire life.
She overcame almost impossible hardships to become a successful author and an inspiration to all who met her.
Hello, my name is Helen Keller. When I was very young, I came down with a strange fever that left me blind and deaf. At the age of 7, my parents hired a teacher by the name of Anne Sullivan to help me communicate with the outside world. I was a difficult student. I would kick and scream and bite everything in my path. But one day at the water pump, Anne spilled water into my hand. Suddenly, I understood that everything had a name. I wanted to know the names of everything I touched. I continued to learn and grow. More and more people heard about me. I even went to the White House to meet the president. I often said the best and most beautiful things in life cannot be seen or even touched, but they have to be felt with the heart. Next up, I would like you to meet a woman who showed great courage and tenacity.
I'm one of the most famous women to take to the air. Hello, my name's Amelia Earhart. When I was young, I was an adventurous girl. I loved to play, skate, shoot, and run. After going to an air show, I decided I wanted to learn how to fly. I took flying lessons and got my first plane. In 1978, I became the first woman to cross the Atlantic. 4 years later, I crossed the Atlantic all by myself. President Roosevelt invited me to a special dinner at the White House. I took Eleanor Roosevelt on a plane ride to see Washington, D.C. at night when we were still dressed in our fancy clothes. 8 years later, I began a trip around the world. Sadly, I disappeared without a trace, but I am remembered for my courage and pioneering spirit, and I am considered to be a trailblazer for the woman in the field of aviation. Now I would like you to meet a man who is still on Supreme List almost 50 years after his death.
When people think of animated cartoons, one name comes to mind. Hello, my name is Walt Disney, and I grew up in Missouri, and that is where I developed my interest in drawing. When I was 17, I joined the American Red Cross and drove an ambulance in World War I. After the war, I decided to make art my career and moved to California where my brother and I started Walt Disney Productions. I produced the first cartoon with sound. It is called Steamboat Willie, starring Mickey Mouse. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is the first animated movie my studio produced. Many people consider Mary Poppins to be my greatest achievement in my filmmaking career. I continue to make movies and win 32 Academy Awards. Because of me, families from all over the world can have fun at my park, Disneyland, and Disney World. Now let's meet a man who showed real courage in the face of adversity as he won all the hearts of America.
Hi, I am Jackie Robinson. Can you believe I was the first African American to play Major League Baseball in the 20th century? I played for the Brooklyn Dodgers in 6 World Series. I broke the record for most stolen bases in the season, and I still own it. I was born on January 31st, 1919, and grew up very poor, without a father. I knew at an early age I wanted to make a difference in the world. I left school and joined the Army. I was one of the first black officers, but I was still children to be done with my race. I was even arrested for not going to the back of the bus. After leaving the Army, I knew I wanted to play baseball and help other blacks have an equal opportunity to play on major league teams. Some folks say that I broke the color barrier. I was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Then, on October 24, 1972, I died in Stamford, Connecticut. I will always be remembered as a man who stood up for his rights. Now let's travel to the year 1969 and meet a man whose history is really out of this world.
On July 20th, 1969, the world stood still to watch me become the first person to ever step on the surface of the moon. Hello, my name's Neil Armstrong. When I was 6, my wish came true to ride in an airplane. I took flying lessons when I was 15. I earned my pilot's license before I earned my driver's license. After serving in the Navy, going to college and flying test planes, I became an astronaut for NASA. As commander of Apollo 11, my crew blasted off to the moon. At this momentous first step on the moon, my famous words were, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." Let's travel to Germany and meet a young girl who showed bravery in the face of horrible adversity and brutality.
Hello, my name is Anne Frank. I was born in 1929 in Frankfurt, Germany. When I was 4.5 years old, my family had to move to Amsterdam, Holland to be safe because we were Jewish. When I was 10, World War II began, and a year later, Holland was invaded by Germany, which was controlled by the Nazis. Jews were treated terribly and were forced to wear yellow shirts. In 1942, after the Nazis invaded Holland, my family went into hiding. I was 13 years old. We were able to pack up only a few things, and one of the things I brought with me was a red diary that I had received from my 13th birthday. In it, I wrote all about my life in hiding. Our secret hideout was hidden behind a movable bookcase in my father's office building. Dutch friends would bring us food when no one was watching. During the day, we had to be extra quiet. We can only whisper and walk around barefoot so no one would hear us. Besides my mom, dad, and sister, 4 other Jews moved into our hideout to escape capture by the Nazis. The 8 of us were in hiding together for 2 years, until someone told the Germans where we were, and they stormed into our hideout and sent us away to concentration camps. My hair was shaved off, I was given very little food, and I died of typhus at age 15. My father survived, and after the war ended, he returned to Amsterdam, found my diary, and published it. My diary teaches us about World War II and how badly Jewish people were treated. Next, I would like you to meet a woman who showed passion, not just to humans, but animals as well.
When I was a little girl in London, I was fascinated with wild animals and spent most of my time outdoors. As I grew up, my love for animals and nature never changed. Hello, My name is Jane Morris Goodall. I was born in London on April 3rd, 1934, and was an avid reader of Tarzan books. Although it wasn't heard of for a young woman to venture into the wilds of Africa, that's exactly what I did in 1960, following my graduation from Cambridge University. This first trip to Africa began my 4-year study of chimpanzees in the wild. I was lucky enough to meet and work with the world-famous anthropologist and paleontologist Dr. Louis Leakey to study chimpanzees in their natural habitat. My research methods were not the usual ones. Rather than assigning numbers to chimpanzees and watching them from afar, I got close to the animals and slowly won their trust. I wrote several books about my studies of chimps so that people all over the world could learn about these animals and their environment. I still work very hard to save the forest and the animals who live in them. I believe we have a responsibility towards the environment, and everyone, especially children, can make this world a better place. Thanks for coming. I hope you enjoyed our show.